कीर्तनगानवचनपरौ प्रेमामृताम्भोनिधे धीराधीरजनौ प्रिया प्रियकरौ धीर्वात्सरौ पूजितौ Shri Chaitanya Devaro Murivara Bharavantarato Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyuga Shri Jiva Gopalato Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyuga Shri Jiva Gopalato Nana Shastra Vicharaneka Nipunau Sadharma Samstapako Lokanamitakayino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyataro Radha Krishna Pararavinda Bhajana Nande Namatarito Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyuga Shri Jiva Gopalato Shri Gauranga Purana Shraddha Samvridhanvito Pavotaparikantanau Tanuvrita Govinda Ganamritai Anandambudivardhanai Kanipunau Kaivalya Nistarako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyuga Shri Jiva Gopalako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyuga Shri Jiva Gopalako Yakva Purnamasheshamandalapati Shrerim Sadatu Chava Utpadina Ganesha Karunaya Gopina Kantashrido Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyuga Shri Jiva Gopalako Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghuyuga Shri Jiva Gopalako Pujat Kokilahams Sarasagana Kirne Mayurakule Nadanatnaivattamullavitapa Shri Yukta Vrindavane Radha Krishna Maharnisham Jivartadau Yamuna Vande Rupa Sanatanau Raghuyugau Shri Jiva Gopalakau Nandena sammohito Vande Rupa Sanatanam Raghuyugam Sri Jiva Gopalakam Vande Rupa Sanatanam Raghuyugam Sri Jiva Gopalakam Radha Kunda Tate Kalindatanaya Dhirechavam Sivate Sriman Madhavashana Shishadashaya Grastau Pramattau Sada Gayantau Chahare Bhavani Bhuto Moda Vande Rupa Sanatanam Raghuyugam Sri Jiva Gopalakam Vande Rupa Sanatanam Raghuyugam Sri Jiva Gopalakam Tera Devajati Devike Chalalite He Nanda Suno Puta Sri Govardhana Kalpa Pandapatale Kalindi Vane Puta Goshanda Viti Sarvato Prajapule Kere Mahabhivalo Vande Rupa Sanatanam Raghuyugam Sri Jiva Gopalakam Vande Rupa Sanatanam Raghuyugam Sri Jiva Gopalakam. Obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are always engaged in the chanting the holy name of Krishna and dancing. They are just like an ocean of a love of God, and they are popular both with the gentle and with the ruffians, because they are not envious of anyone. Whatever they do, they are all pleasing to everyone. And they are fully blessed by Lord Chaitanya. They are engaged in the missionary activities meant to deliver all the conditioned souls in the material universe. For my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principle for the benefit of all the human beings. Thus they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of gopis and are engaged in the transcendental living service of Radha and Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, much enriched in understanding of Lord Chaitanya, and who are thus expert in narrating his transcendental qualities. They can purify all conditioned souls from the reactions of their sinful activities by pouring upon them transcendental songs about Govinda. As such, they are very expert in increasing the limits of ocean of transcendental bliss, and they are the saviors of the living entities, mouth of liberation. For my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, who kicked off all association of aristocracy as insignificant. In order to deliver the poor conditioned souls, they accepted lion cloths, treating themselves as mendicants, but they are always merged in the ecstatic ocean of the gopis' love for Krishna and bathe always in the waves of that ocean. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, who were always engaged in worshipping Radha and Krishna, the land of Vrindavan, where there are beautiful trees full of fruits and flowers, which have under their roots all valuable jewels. The Goswamis are perfectly competent to bestow upon the living entities the greatest boon of goal of life. Respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, who were engaged in the chanting the holy names of the Lord and bowing down in a scheduled measurements. In this way, they utilized their valuable lives. In these devotional activities, they conquered overeating and sleeping, and were always meek and humble, enchanted by remembering the transcendental qualities of the Lord. For my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, who were sometimes on the bank of the Radha Kund lake or the shores of the Yamuna, sometimes at Vansivat, appeared just like a madman in the full ecstasy of love for Krishna, exhibiting different transcendental symptoms in their bodies, and they were merged in the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. For my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Dasa Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who were chanting very loudly everywhere in Vrindavan, shouting, Queen of Vrindavan, Radharani, O Lalita, O son of Nanda Maharaj, where are you all now? Are you just on the hill of Govardhan? Or are you under the trees on the bank of the Yamuna? Where are you? These were their moods in executing Krishna consciousness. Shri Shri Goswami Ashtakam ki Jai. Shri Shri Goswami Prabhugan ki Jai.
He's Neeraj Prabhu.
So this is first time you're coming, or?
We've been till temple, so here I can first time.
Okay.
Neeraj.
Yes.
Neeraj.
Neeraj.
Together. Nice to meet you. We already met actually. Last time in temple we met.
Oh, okay.
So we'll start today with the second verse of instruction. Atyahara prayashasya prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha laulyam cha Shadavir bhakti vinashati.
Read Prabhu, read also recite Prabhu.
Atyahara prayashasya prajalpo niyamagraha janasangasya laulyam cha sadavir bhakti vinashyati.
Ati ahara.
or collecting too much.
Too much. Prayasaha, or endeavoring. Cha,
And
and Prajalpaha, idle talk. Niyama,
Niyama,
rules and regulations.
rules and regulations.
Agraha, too much attachment to.
Too much attachment to.
Or
Or
agraha,
agraha,
too much neglect of.
too much neglect of.
Janasangaha,
Janasangaha,
association with worldly minded persons.
association with worldly minded persons.
Cha,
Cha,
and Laulyam,
laulyam,
adherent longing
ardent longing,
or
or
greed.
greed.
Cha,
Cha,
and
shadbhi, should be
by these six,
by these six.
bhakti,
Bhakti,
devotional service,
devotional service,
vinashati,
vinashati,
is destroyed.
is destroyed.
Translation. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too much entangled in the following six activities. 1. Eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. 2nd. Over-endeavoring for mundane things difficult to obtain. 3rd. Talking unnecessary about mundane subject matters. 4th. Practicing the spiritual rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. Or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 5. Associating with the worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6. Being greedy for mundane achievements. Purport. Human life is meant for plain living and high thinking. Since all conditioned living beings are under the control of the Lord's third energy, this material world is designed so that one is obliged to work. The Supreme Personality of a Godhead has three primary energies or potencies. The first is called Antaranga Shakti or the internal potency. The second is called Tathastha Shakti or the marginal potency. The third is called the Bahiranga Shakti or the external potency. The living entities constitutes the marginal potency and they are situated between the internal potencies. Being subordinate as an eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, the Jivatmas or atomic living entities must remain under the control of either the internal or external potency. When they are under the control of the internal potency, they display natural constitutional activity, namely constant engagement in the devotional service of the Lord. This is stated in Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, 13th verse. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashritaha bhajanti ananya manaso nyatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, original and so last time we have discussed the text number 1. Who can become a spiritual master? That has explained. The person who conquers the 6 things. What are they?
First speak.
Vacho Vegam, Manasaha Krodha Vegam,
And anger.
Jiva Vegam,
Tongue.
Udara Upastha Vegam.
Sentence.
That person who can control all these 6 things, disciples all over the world. Means that person can become a spiritual master, control over all his senses. And now further, Rupa Goswami is explaining about 6 things which creates obstacle or which can destroy your devotional service, which can destroy your consciousness. So what are they in this particular verse? Atyahar. Atyahara means overeating or collecting too much. Then prayashasya, or endeavoring for anything and everything, or especially for those material things which are very difficult to obtain. Then prajalpo, indulging in the talks which will not help you to become Krishna conscious, about the politics, discussing about the present situation of the society, discussion about which will not help you to make Krishna conscious. So all these things comes under that destroys your consciousness. Then niyama agraha. This word has split into two. One is niyam agraha, means too much attached to rules and regulations. And there is another one, niyam agraha, means not following any rules and regulations. Then jana sangasya, means associating with the people who are worldly minded, who are not interested in devotional life. Like people who are like gossiping about others, in discussing about the film, then stardust, that does, this does, like that. Then laulyam. Laulyam means greed. Any sort of a greed. That will destroy your. And then Prabhupada starts with explaining how one get influenced by these things. What makes him to get affected. And that's why Prabhupada very clearly he explained here about energies of the Lord. Lord has 3 energies. One is internal, the second is external, and third is marginal. Or internal, marginal, and external. So the internal energy means mama maya durattaya. The internal energy is different from Maya. External energy of the Lord. Maya means which covers you. And internal energy of the Lord, if someone takes shelter of that energy, then he becomes Mahatmas. And that was explained in the Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter 13th verse. Mahatmanas tamam partha daivim prakriti ashrita. Ananya manasu. The person who has taken shelter of the Daivi Prakriti, he constantly worship their Lordship. And the person who has got influenced by the Shakti, what happens to him? He forgets about the Lord. In the marginal potency of the Lord or marginal energy of the Lord, sometimes he get affected by the spiritual energy, sometimes he get affected by the material energy. So whenever he comes under the influence of spiritual energy, the devotees read scripture, discuss about Lord. And whenever he gets covered or get influenced by the external energy of the Lord, Bahiranga Shakti, then he forgets about everything. And he gets entangled into the material activities. So he says, the word Mahatma refers to those who are broad-minded, not a cripple-minded. Cripple-minded person always engaged in satisfying their senses. Sometimes expand activities in order to do good for others through some ism, like nationalism, humanitarianism, and altruism. They may reject personal sense gratification for the sense gratification for others, like the members of their family, community, or society, either national or international. Actually, all these extended sense gratification for personal, social. These may all be very good from the material point of view, but such activities have no spiritual values. Activity is sense gratification, either personal or extended. Only when a person gratifies the senses of the Supreme Lord can he be called a broad-minded person. Generally, people are somehow or other engaged in either their own sense gratification or leaving aside their own sense gratification, they may be in the sense gratification of society. But ultimately, they are engaged in sense gratification. And this sort of activities, moral tourism, that will not help him to make a progress in spiritual life. Materially, it's good. People generally, they think, oh, that milk on the Shivalinga or in the temple, we should feed it to people. We should feed it to boys who don't get a food. Or rather than donating something to a temple, buy books and give it to children, distribute to them. That is also good. But that's not the ultimate benefit for them. But what you do for the service of Lord, with the service to the humanity. The greatest service to the humanity is to giving them knowledge about Krishna, reconnecting them with the God, consciousness. That is real humanitarianism that you can do. You can help the humanity. In the above quoted verse from the Bhagavad Gita, the word Daivim Prakriti refers to the control of the internal potency or pleasure potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This pleasure potency is manifested as Srimati Radharani or her expansion, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. When the individual Jiva souls are under the control of the internal energy, their only engagement in satisfaction of Krishna or Vishnu. This is the position of Mahatma. If one is not Mahatma, he is Duratma or cripple-minded person. Such a mentally crippled Duratmas are put under the control of the Lord's external potency, which is known as Mahamaya. Indeed, all living entities within this material world of Mahamaya, whose business is to subject them to the influence of the threefold miseries, like Adidaivaka Klesha, suffering caused by the demigod, such as the droughts, earthquakes, and storms. Adi Bhautika Klesha, suffering caused by our other living entities, like insects and enemies. And Adhyatmika Klesha, suffering caused by one's own body, such as the mental and physical infirmities. Daiva Bhutatma Hetavaha, the conditioned soul subjected to these three miseries by the control of external energy, suffer various difficulties. The world, which is known as the external energy of the Lord. And who comes here? Who wants to enjoy separate from Krishna. For them, this world has created. And this world is considered as a Durga. Durga means fort.
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 Threefold.
Durga means fort. F-O-R-T. Fort.
Fort. Okay.
Okay. Generally, in previous eras, they used to put criminals. To punish them, they used to put them into jail or fort. They used to have that facility. And there, the commander or superintendent of that fort used to give them punishments. So same way here, This material world is considered as a fort. And here all the living entities who wanted to enjoy separate from Krishna, they get punished by the external energy of the Lord, which is known as the.
Ahamaya.
And how she does that? Through this Adidevika, Adibhautika, and Adhyatmika klesha. So she has a trident in her hand. If you see the picture of Durga,
Durga.
she holds trident in her hand. And that trident has a 3 spokes.
Hmm.
What they represent? Adidevika klesha, one is Adibhautika klesha, and the third one is
Adhyatmik.
Adhyatmika klesha. So everyone is suffering in this material world. That's why it is called as a Dukhalayam Shashvata, the storehouse of suffering.
Hmm.
Who is there in this material world is free from the suffering.
Hmm.
Some other 24/7, they are suffering one of these kleshas, either Adhyatmika, either Adibhautika, or either Adidevika.
19.
The main problem confronting the conditioned souls is the repetition of birth, old age, disease, and death.
17.
In the material world, one has to work for a maintenance of the body and soul. But how can one perform such a work in a way that is favorable for the execution of Krishna consciousness? Everyone requires possessions such as food grains, clothing, money, and other things necessary for maintenance of the body. But one should not collect more than are necessary for his actual basic needs. This natural principle is followed, there will be no difficulty in maintaining the body. Before 300 years, people used to follow this method. And that's why in India, there were no beggars actually. When that Macmillan came throughout the India that time, and he sent a report that through the length and breadth of India, I was not able to see any beggar because everyone was skilled and they are working. No one was begging for their food. And they are content. And that's why they are satisfied with whatever they are having and they're happy. Rule this country, what do you have to do? You have to destroy the respect for their idols, means their teachers, and destroy their Gurukul system, the way they get educated. Because of that education system, they are not exploited. Because what we follow, as per the Rigveda, that's the first Veda from which all other Vedas has come. There is one nice shloka that says, Amantram aksharam nasti nasti moolam manoshadi. Ayogyaha purusho nasti yojakas tatra durlabha. You can't find a single syllable from which you can't make any mantra. Means all the mantras, they are composed or compiled by rearranging all the Varnamala, Devanagari, all syllables from there. Nasti mula manaushadi. You can't find any root of a tree which is not used to make any medicine. Means every has some medicinal effect, but we don't know that. Ayogyaha purusho nasti. Person who is not qualified to do anything. Means everyone has some qualification to do something. Then what is the problem? Problem is that yojakas durlabha, the person who can organize this, it's very rare to find the proper organizer who can arrange all these things properly and make use of them. So that was the system of our Vedic Gurukul, where they used to create yojakas and utilize all these things for their spiritual enlightenment. as that system has lost, people has lost their what we call satiation or peacefulness of their mind. Prabhupada further gives a nice example. He says, according to the nature's arrangement, living entities lower on the evolutionary scale do not eat or collect more than necessary. Consequently, in the animal kingdom, there is generally no economic problem or scarcity of necessities. See, very nicely Prabhupada has used word. Scarcity of necessities, not a greed. If a bag of rice placed in a public place, birds will come to eat a few grains and go away. A human being, however, will take away whole bag. He will eat all his stomach and try to keep the rest in storage. According to scripture, this collecting of more than necessary is prohibited. Now the entire world is suffering because of it. That's what we can see everywhere. Then further, this is what about atyahar, means collecting more than the necessity. Vitte nrupaladbhyam. If you have too much with you, money, grains, you always get scared of. One will come and take it away. If king comes to know that you are having something, that's why he said vitte nrupaladbhyam. If you have a lot of wealth, then you will get frightened or you will have a fear of. If you have money, you will be afraid of demonetization. Or maybe the income tax department will come and put a raid on you. So the next one, Prabhupada says, being more than necessary also causes prayasa. Like that human being, he just took the whole bag. Means he has to endeavor to carry the whole that load on his back. If it would have just taken whatever handful necessary for him, he would have been happy. But rather than he put more endeavor to collect more. So that is called as a prayasa. So further it is said, endeavor. By God's arrangement, anyone in any part of the world can live very peacefully if he has some land
And a milk. Okay.
There is no need for a man to move from one place to another to earn the livelihood. For one can produce food and get milk from cows. That can solve all economic problems. Fortunately, man has been given higher intelligence for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness of God. One's relationship with Him and the ultimate goal of life, love of God. Unfortunately, so-called civilized man, not caring for God realization, utilizes his intelligence to get more than necessary and simply eat to satisfy the tongue. Arrangement, there is a sufficient scope for the production of milk and grains for human beings all over the world. But instead of using his higher intelligence to cultivate God consciousness, so-called intelligent men misuses their intelligence to produce many unnecessary and unwanted things. Thus, factories, slaughterhouses, brothels, and liquor shops are opened. If people are advised not to collect too many goods, eat too much, or work unnecessary to possess artificial amenities, they think they are being advised to return to primitive way of life. Generally, people do not like to accept plain living and high thinking. That is their unfortunate position.
This is what you have started with, right? This verse only when starting, you said this one only, right?
High thinking, yeah.
And plain living and high thinking. Human life is meant for
Meant for that. But we are not doing that. Simple example, actually, that strike me in my own life. I bought a flat in Bombay 5 years back, paying installment per month. But within that 5 years, I stayed in that flat for 1 month. And rest of the months, I'm just paying that installment. It's like unnecessary. Living somewhere, has a place somewhere to stay, but unnecessarily creating my own burden. For what? Future happiness. Maybe in the future that will double. But that comes under over-endeavoring. It is not necessary now. But thinking about future, who knows before that I will die? What will happen to that? This is what the prayasa, the working for unnecessary thing and losing what is necessary now. What is necessary now? To engaging our time, whatever we have, for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. And that happens only in the human form of life. Animals, they don't have that intelligence to think about. They are good in one point of view, as Prabhupada, he uses very particular words. He says here that evolutionary scale. What is this evolutionary scale for the animals? From one species, they get evolved and get to go to next one. There, they don't create any karma. Why? Because they just follow the rules and regulation as given by the nature. Tiger, if you won't get anything, he never eat grass. He eat only meat. Cow, if she does not get anything else to eat, she never eats other than the grass. She only eats grass or vegetables. So they follow rules and regulations of so they get evolved. From one species to higher species they go. They don't create any karma. But in the human form of life, because they are awarded with the extra intelligence, they take disadvantage of that. All sort of nonsense. They do all things which are not meant for them to do. Why? Because they have a high intelligence. Karma. And that's why this human form of a life is known as a junction. When you go to any railway junction, what happens? You will see trains there, up and down. They are going to different destinations. So the human form of life is meant for fixing your destination, whether you want to go up or whether you want to go down. And that's why even demigods, that if you have a little bit punya, please send us on the earthly planet. And mostly in Bharatvarsha, because there it's very easy or spontaneous to perform devotional service. In the 5th canto, where different in charge of 14 planets, they offer prayers to their lordship. There they say, please, if we really have some punya, give us birth in Bharatvarsha. And what we do? We take birth in Bharatvarsha and go out. For what? Earning money. Thinking that we will earn more, then we'll go back and we'll do devotional service. But that never happens. So we need to cultivate the consciousness through which we can practice what we learn, what we study. And for that, we need an association of devotees. Then further Prabhupada says, the human life is meant for God realization. And human being is given higher intelligence for this purpose. Those who believe that the higher intelligence is meant to attain the higher state should follow the instructions of Vedic literatures. By taking such instructions from the higher authorities, one can actually become situated in perfect knowledge and give real meaning to life. Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 2nd chapter, text 9, Srila Sutta Goswami describes the proper human dharma in this way. Dharmasya hi apavargasya nartho arthayo kalpate narthasya dharma ekantasya kamo labhaya hi smritaha. All occupational engagements, which are termed as a dharma, are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service, dharma, should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. The first step in human civilization consists of occupational engagements performed according to the scriptural injunctions. The higher intelligence of a human being should be trained to understand basic dharma. In the human society, there are various religious conceptions characterized as Hindu, Christian, Hebrew, Mohammedans, Buddhist, and so on. For without religion, human society is no better than the animal society.
Continue.
As there is one verse in Niti Shastra that ahara nidra bhayamaitunam cha samanya etat pashuvir naranam adeko vishosho dharmena hina pashuvir sama. That's what is explained exactly here. In this human form of life, there are different ways or conceptions are there for religion. But what is the actual religion? That we have to understand. What is meant by religion?
Connecting, reconnecting to Krishna.
Dharma means a particular characteristics that can't be separated. Like we see physical and chemical properties of elements. When we study the chemical properties, it shows the characteristics of that particular element. What is the characteristics of water?
Flows.
Boiling point 100 degrees.
Purifying.
All those flows.
Liquidity.
Purifying, yeah.
That's the basic thing. If it is not a, you can't say it a water. Like ice. It's a water, but do we say that it loses its own identity? Taralta. That's the basic.
Fluidity.
Fluidity. That's the basic characteristics of water. You can't take it out. If you take it out, then it loses its own identity. What's the constitutional characteristic of sugar?
Sweet.
If you take it out, it's not a sugar anymore. So same way, all the living entities, they have a basic characteristic, which is a constitutional. You can't take it out. What is that?
Service to Lord.
Oh, really? And what else?
Eating, hunger.
Eternal, always eternal and serve.
God
Part
consciousness.
and parcel of God.
To love and be loved.
That's the main point. All living beings, not only human beings, all living entities, what they do? They love. They love. What's the media?
By caring for them.
Means
Taking care.
through service.
Service.
How you express your love? You try to serve them.
Service.
So that is natural with all living beings. Any sort of animal, beasts, birds, on 4 lakh varieties of human beings. All they do this same. They love someone, and to show that love, they serve. So that is the constitutional characteristic of Jiva. religion means. The real religion is to love and to show that love, serve. And all the religions of the world, throughout the world, they are doing the same thing only. They are loving God, but process and expression is, but constitutionally characteristic is same. That is what religion means. And only in the human form of a life you can understand this. Animal, they don't have that much advanced intelligence to understand what they are doing. But at least human being, they can do. They can do understand this. Prabhupada further says, as stated above, dharmasya hi apavargasya nartho arthaya kalpate. Religion is meant for attaining emancipation, not for getting bread. Sometimes human society manufactures a system of so-called religion aimed at material advancement. But that is far from the purpose of true dharma. Religion entails understanding the laws of God, because the proper execution of these laws ultimately leads one out of material entanglement. That is the true purpose of religion. Not the material development, but to get rid of this material entanglement. Unfortunately, people accept religion for material prosperity because of atya ahara, or an excessive desire for such prosperity. True religion, however, instructs people to be satisfied with the bare necessities of life while cultivating Krishna consciousness. Even though we require economic development, true religion allows it only for supporting the bare necessities of material existence. Jivasya tattva jigyasa. The real purpose of life is to inquire about the absolute truth. If our endeavor, prayasa, is not to inquire about the absolute truth, we will simply increase our endeavor to satisfy our artificial needs. A spiritual aspirant should avoid mundane endeavor. And Prabhupada gives wonderful example for that. If you are anyone of had an old version of Bhagavad Gita, there is one picture plate. One old woman, she is cleaning the golden cage for a parrot. She forgets to feed that parrot and she takes care of only cage. That's what war endeavor. We are doing the same. We are trying for the material prosperity. We are trying to get different amenities to facilitate our own sense gratification in the human form of a life. And we really forget to feed for whom this cage has meant for. For the parrot. If you don't feed that parrot, then if it is not alive, then what is the use of having that cage? So same way, we are not feeding our soul. To feed soul, what we have to do?
Inquire about supreme.
Exactly. Consciously, we have to inquire about the absolute truth and try to practice the procedure through which you can reconnect ourselves with the God. What we do to maintain this cage. Then further, Prabhupada is explaining about prajalpa. Another impediment is prajalpa, unnecessary talking. When we mix with a few friends, we immediately begin unnecessary talking. See, to have understanding what is unnecessary, intelligence. Otherwise, people will think, "Arey, he's not at all social person. He never likes to be mixed with other people." Isolate you socially, and if you are not paying attention to their subject matters. So, what is unnecessary? To understand that, you should know what is necessary. Otherwise, it's tough to make it out. We immediately begin unnecessary talking, like a croaking toads. If we must talk, we should talk about the Krishna consciousness movement. How we will survive then? Huh? We have our own jobs. For that, we need to have a discussion with the colleagues. We need to have we have to stay in the society, so we have to have interaction with the neighbors. We are not saying that you don't have that. About unnecessary talking. If you're at job, okay, you talk. But regarding only your job. But we don't do that. We discuss about, oh, what he's wearing, what he has done day before yesterday.
Who was playing how?
Huh?
Who was playing on the tennis, NFF, I don't know what they play.
Football,
volleyball.
Which is not necessary. And because of that unnecessary talk, sometimes we create enmity. Because someone is favorable and you don't have a favorable your opinion for that, then that person thinks, oh, this rascal. It's about my person. So it was not related to you directly, but again you create some enmity with someone else. That's what the effect of unnecessary talking. Those outside of the Krishna consciousness movement are interested in reading heaps of newspapers, magazines, and novels, solving crossword puzzles, and doing many other nonsensical things. Learned. He clearly says it. Nonsensical things. Because people, they think it's a part of life. You should know what's going on around, but you don't know what's going on. You may know around, but what's inside you don't know. In this fashion, people simply waste their valuable time and energy. That's the one has to understand. The value of time. Chanakya in his Niti Shastra, he says that Ayusha Kshana Ekobhi Swarna Koti Bhirna Labhyate. A single moment of life. You can't get it back by spending millions of dollars in today's world. In those words, they said gold. Swarna Koti Bhir, crores of golden coins you may spend, but you will not get back that single moment of life what you have wasted. Knows the value of time. Definitely he will not waste that. Foremost qualification of Vaishnava that is explained by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Bhajan Rahasya. He says, Avyartha Kalatvam. Who is Vaishnava? Who knows the value of time and he never wastes his time. What he does? He invests his time. Because Srimad Bhagavatam says, when sun rises, he moves around. By moving that, what he does?
Takes the life of the human.
He steals away your life. Udyan astav chiyan asav. Ayur harti yat kshanav. The sun, when he rises, he takes away your life. Tasyate yat kshano rita. But them he lives who are engaged in Uttam Shlokasya Vartaya, who are engaged in discussion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The time they have invested the time. That one has to understand. And being Vaishnava, the worshipper of Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna, they should know the value of time. Mrityur sarvaharascha. I'm the dead personified who takes away everything from everyone, whoever he may be, how rich, how poor he may be in this world. And kalo sarvaharascha. And that time I am destroyer of everything. Whom we are vesting? We are vesting the Lord Himself. If we really value that, and definitely we'll engage it properly in the Lord's service. And we can save ourselves. In the Western countries, old men retired from active life, play cards, fish, watch television, and debate about the useless socio-political schemes. Wrote this in 1974. Situation in the Western world. Now it is there in India also. Forget about the old one. Even young guys, they are also wasting their time on. All these and other frivolous activities are included in the Prajalpa category. Prajalpa means only not nonsensical talkings, but performing all the activities which are not necessary for cultivation of Krishna consciousness. That is Prajalpa. Intelligent person interested in Krishna consciousness should never take part in such activities. Now the further what creates impediments or obstacle in Krishna consciousness, that is explained. The next point is Jana Sangaha. Jana Sangha means associating with the worldly minded people. Generally man is known by the company he keeps. So if you want to be devotee, whom you have to be associated with? Devotees. So Jana Sangaha. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in his commentary on Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, there is one verse. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Nirantara koribe kirtan. One has to do Harinam Sankirtan Nirantara. While explaining that word Nirantar, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has given wonderful comment. What creates Antara? What are these things which creates Antara? If you have a association with the worldly mind people, that creates Antara. So if you want to do Kirtan, then Nirantara, you should keep all these things which creates distance in between you and Lord. And one of that is Jana Sangha. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he prays to their Lordship in his Chaitanya Shiksha Ashtakam, he says, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, na kavitam va jagadishikamai. First thing he says, what creates obstacle in the chanting the holy name of Lord is dhana, wealth, and extra endeavor to gain that wealth. And second thing is jana, means the follower, the people whom you associate, they also create distance between you and Krishna. So one has to be very careful, rather extra careful when you associate with the people. And that's why it is said Jana Sangha, refer to associating with person not interested in Krishna consciousness. One should strictly avoid such association. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has therefore advised us to live only in the association of Krishna conscious devotees. Bhakta Sanevas. One should always engage in the service of the Lord in the association of the Lord's devotees. Even Mahaprabhu also says, if you want to know the secrets of Srimad Bhagavatam, you should read it or hear it from person Bhagavata. Bhagavata Shunya Bhagavatera Sthane. If you really want to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, then you should read it in the association of devotees or hear it from the devotees. Otherwise, Sanatana Goswami says, even though the pastimes of the Lordship are so wonderful, they can remove all the dirt from your heart. But if you hear it from a non-devotees or non-Vaishnavas, then you will destroy your consciousness. And he gives a nice shloka from Padma Purana. He says that Vaishnava Mokadira Kota Hari Kathamra Shravanam Naiva Kartavyam Sarpo Chishta Yathopaya. mostly in Bharat we see, or Bharatvarsha, nowadays, there's a new fad of people. Everybody wanted to show their aristocracy, if they are pious. What they do, they arrange this Bhagavad Sapta. And they spent lavishly. 3 crores, 4 crores. Some people are there, their Bhagavad Kathas are booked for years together, for next 10 years, for next 15 years. And how much they charge for one Katha? Just 4 crores. For that person's fees for 7-8 days. And other, whatever they stage, whatever arrangement is, that is different. But does that helps anyone to develop their consciousness? Never. Because Padma Puran says, whoever takes money, Lord's pastimes, he will go to hell. And the person who arranges also, he will also go to hell. But somebody does that katha spontaneously for the pleasure of Lord. Or with a compassion in his heart for the people who are hearing. For them, and with that compassion, if he is speaking out that, then that really makes difference for that person. And that's why Sanatana Goswami Pati says that Shravanam Naiva Kartavyam. Don't hear from them who avaishnava mukhatkira, who are avaishnavas. Because we have seen here what is said, dharma should not be used for earning money. Or not for the first step in human civilization consists of occupational engagement performed according to the scriptural injunction. The occupational engagements are certainly meant for the ultimate liberation, not for the material gain. So this Bhagavad Katha for your material gain, use of that. You are missing the main principle itself. Because it is meant for Lord's pleasure. And then he says that Avaishno Mukhadgiram Puta Katha Puta Hari Katha Amritam. Hari Katha is Puta. Puta means which purifies. But if you hear it from a Vaishnava, then what happens? It is just like a milk which is touched by the serpent. Be harmful. So better not to hear from them. Avoid their association. Even it may be a very sweet to hear, may be very nicely presented, but the essence behind that, if that is lost, then what's the use? All has given for that. One sadhu, Vrindavan, he used to say that who will protect the money of a rich man? His own wedded wife or his kept one? Who will take care of his assets? Because he knows the value of whatever possession he has. So same way, who will narrate the Lord's pastime nicely?
Devotees.
The devotee. Rather than the professional reciter. Because he is doing to show his eloquency. But devotee, when he does it for the pleasure of Lord. Because he knows that whenever you recite the Hari Katha, Lord is always there. Because Lord, he said to Narada, Naham vasami vaikunte yoginam hridaya shunava mad bhakta yatra gayanti tatra tisthami Narada. Where do I reside, Narada? I reside there where my devotees, they discuss about me. Why? Machita madagata prana bodhayanti parasparam kathayantasya mam nitya tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Why they do? Because they are tushyanti. They get what we say. We don't have proper English words also for terminologies.
Hindi word is
Tushyanti. Tushyanti means santosh. जीवन की सारी चीजें जो रहती है जिसके लिए हमें
extremely delighted.
तृषा जैसे कहते हैं.
Satisfaction.
हाँ?
Satisfaction. Bliss.
Bliss.
Hey, only Bhagavad Gita is there, Prabhu. Just what is it? 9th chapter. 10th chapter.
Santosh, that is what.
Santoshi.
That gives solace, that you can, solace to your heart. Pushyanticha, ramanticha. Ramanticha means they are drawn into that. They are totally into that. They never care about what's happening around. They are totally absorbed. And with such devotees, Lord comes and sits in front of them to hear about. That's why when he gives knowledge to Mother Devavati, see, I have told you about my devotion. And there are varieties of devotion that person can perform. But if you really want to know the glory of that, my devotees. Because they can tell you more than what I tell. And you will relish that. Why? Then he says that Satam Prasangad Mama Virya Samvido Bhavanti Rutkarna Rasayana Kataha Tad Joshanad Ashwa Apavarga Vartani Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anukrameshati. Satam Prasangad. Satam means the people who are always associated with the truth. They are known as the Satam. Prasanga. So whenever you associate with them, what happens? Samvida. You will hear about my glories only, my activities. Then what will happen? What will be the effect of hearing from them? Bhavanti Rutkarna Rasayana Kataha. It becomes elixir, rasayan. Generally in Ayurveda, they do this rasayan chikitsa when the patient is very critical. Give medication, nothing has happened. So they give this rasayana, which are called as a elixir. Arka. Arka means essence. They give that. So what happens? Immediately that starts reacting with the disease. And person gets better effect than anything else. So when you hear about the Lord in the association of devotee, from the devotee, then what happens? Ashwa, immediately. That becomes a Karna Rasayana. That glories of the Lord becomes Karna Rasayana that enters through your heart. And what does it there? What will be the reaction when it reaches through your heart? Tad Josna. There is enlightenment in your heart. Ashwa Apavarga Vartmani. And you will immediately start thinking about Apavarga. What is Apavarga? Vaikuntha. Apavarga. How many of you studied Sanskrit in school days? Little bit. At least one subject till 5 or 10th class. So in Devanagari, they have a Varnamala. So each Varna has its Varga, its group. A Varga, Cha Varga, Ka Varga, Ta Varga. And then comes Pa Varga. In Pa Varga, there are different syllables. What are they? Exactly. Pa, Fa, Ba, Ha, and Ma. What it represents? Pa means Parishram. If you are taken birth in this material world, what you have to do? You have to work. Then you will get your food. So you have to endeavor, Parishram. Because of that Parishram, what happens? You get Phala. Result of that. That result, what happens then? Ba. Bandhan. Whatever reaction it comes, that binds you. Bandhan. If you are done in mode of goodness, then Sukha and Jnana will bind you. If you are done it in the mode of passion, what will bind you? Kam and Krodha will bind you. And if it is done in the mode of ignorance, what will bind you?
Madness.
Agyan and madness. Huh? So that Phala causes bandhan. If someone is bound in this material world, of his heart, he will be joyous or he will be fearful. That is bhaya. Pa, fa, ba. And what is the ultimate bhaya? Ma. Mrityu. So this material world is known as a pavarga. And when you hear about the glories of the Lord from his devotees, then your heart will get enlightened and you will start thinking about apavarga. You will start thinking about that place which is beyond this pavarga, where there is no pavarga at all. And that place is known as a Vaikuntha. Vai means not, Kuntha means suffering. Where there no sufferings are there, that place is known as a Vaikuntha. So when you hear it from the Lord, then immediately your heart gets enlightened and you will start thinking about the Vaikuntha. And then Shraddha Ratir Bhaktir Anukramesha. And then you will start rising your consciousness from Shraddha, then to Rati, and then Bhakti. That's the effect of hearing about the Lord from his devotees. Even Lord is not able to do that. Like there's one saint from Maharashtra, Tukaram Maharaj. He's considered as a very great acharya in Vaishnava Sampradaya. He wrote down in one place, he says that Kamalini Kaya Jane Parimala Brahmara Sakala Zanidasa. Means lotus flower does not know what sort of a flavor or aroma is there that attracts all the living beings toward lotus flower. Who knows that? Brahmara. The bumblebee knows. So if you really wanted to know what sort of a aroma that lotus flower has, the bumblebee. So what sort of a love that Lord has, who will tell that? Because they are in love with him. So they are relishing that love. Even Lord is not relishing that. And just to know that what my devotees are relishing from me, he came as a Lord Gauranga. Because there is only one person who was knowing that, and that was Srimati Radharani. And that's why he took mood of Radharani and appeared in the age of Kali to taste the melos in between the devotee and Lord. He was surprised. I don't know. Even I kick them, I embrace them, all things, for them it seems like a same, alike. Enjoying. I don't understand that. And that's why the Lord himself becomes his own devotee. And when he becomes his devotee, then he is able to give that love to everyone. In previous incarnation, he never gave his love to anyone. He liberated them. But he never gave them love. He never did that. And that he has done in this particular incarnation as Lord Gauranga. And we are blessed because just recently he came here in this world era where he personally came and distributed his love. And that happens only one day in Brahma. So only once in a day of Brahma. And that's in the 28th Yuga cycle of. So we are blessed. So take advantage of that. Perfect this lifetime. Because he is not coming back again. Because half of the Brahma's day has passed. It's the second half. In the beginning he has come. For the millions of years. He may come in the next day of Brahma. And we don't know where we'll be then. That's what Prabhupada says, this is the last life. Finish it off and go back. Don't bother me more again to come back for you and take you back. One day, one disciple, he went to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, I want to serve your lotus feet life after life. Prabhupada just looked at him, rascal. Why do you want to bring me back into this material world again and again? Just finish it off in this lifetime and go back. No more coming back. This is what And Prabhupada said, you can do it. 70% he has taken a credit. 30% you have to do. For a 4 regulative principles, chant 16 rounds without any delay. If you are sincere in that, doing that, he will take you back. And he said, I have a backdoor key. Don't worry. Because Krishna conscious movement is a kitchen department. And kitchen has always a backdoor entry. And he says, I will take you to Golok Vrindavan from that door. Don't worry about that. But follow what I said. Just do it. So how many of you are chanting? How many rounds?
I do not 16.
16?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
sometimes but 16 like since last 1 week. But sometimes like
16. Less than 16.
Means what? 1? Half? Quarter? Means how many? Don't shy for that. That's your spiritual progress. That should be declared to others. Because see, in spiritual life, everything is transparent. Nothing is concealed. If you keep something concealed, that gets rotten. And that stings then you have to throw it away. Spiritual life means transparent. If you are not done also, you should say clearly, I am not done. Because Krishna says what you keep back. He is never interested what you are giving. He said, I have given you. So what you give is not big thing for me. But I am interested what you are keeping for you. Means what is more. So better be clear. And he likes that. He don't like pretenders. Even if you don't chant, say clearly, I don't chant. Sometimes it happens. If my mood is there, I chant 16 rounds. If not, I never bother for chanting for next 16 days even. Be frank. That Krishna likes. But what you are doing, you should do it with honesty. He loves that. Even if you chant 1 round with a sincere heart, he will take you back home, back to God. Sincerity should be there. To endeavor for that sincerity, you have to chant your 16 rounds daily. So that at least one day, it's not that at the time of death you have to chant 16 rounds and then Krishna will take you back. That time you have to remember Lord. To remember their Lordship, to make habit of that, at least 2 hours we should constantly meditate on. It's a lifetime preparation. That's what Prabhupada used the term. It means for your lifetime preparation. So that at the end of life, at the time of death, you can remember that single word of. Otherwise, it's very tough to remember, you know. One person, when he was young, he was working in one shop. And he was very honest, very sincere. By seeing his honesty and his attachment for the work and sincerity of heart, the owner of that shop became very much pleased with him. And he had one daughter. He got married, that boy, with that daughter. So this labor, he became now owner. So as he became owner, he put his heart into the service and he developed. From one shop, he made 4 shops. During that span, he had 4 kids. All they got married. They had their own kids. And the whole life spent like that in his development. But with a sincere heart and honesty, he did that. Then it was like a fake end of a life and he was bedridden. And few moments are there. Everyone was counting now. At any moment he can leave. So all the people around his shops, all they came and they were just standing around him. So he asked first, where are you? She said, I'm here, don't leave. I'm at your feet only. She said, okay. Then he asked, well, where is the elder one? So he said, Father, I'm here. Where is the younger one? He said, I'm here. What is the middle one? He said, I'm also here. Then where is the daughter? He said, I'm also here. And he asked about all the kids, all my grandchildren. I said, well, Grandpa, all we are here. Then he asked about each and every servant of the shop. They gave their present. They said, yes, we are here. There was a last moment. He's supposed to quit his body. There was a last breath. And what he asked, here, then who is there in the shop? He left. So what he thought about?
Shop.
Because the whole life he thought about the business only. Who will take care of that? So what you remember but what you do whole life. That's why in the previous days, even before 50, 60 years, in India, most of the people they used to say, now we are going to Kashi Yatra.
Come back.
No more coming back. At the age of 50, 55, 60, they used to put Tulsi Patra. Everything is Krishna Arpanamastu. They used to put Tulsi Patra on the whole property, go to Kashi. Uttarayan they used to call. Once you have started for the north direction, no more coming back. Nowadays, within 7 days, Kashi Yatra ho gayi. Back to pavilion. Again, now retired life, just go and play tennis. Then move around in the...
We have flights from Vijayawada to Varanasi. They see that they introduced.
That's not a Tirtha Yatra. Why they used to do that? There is a big logic behind that. Then they are totally detached from the family. There were no thoughts about the family. Means peacefully they can engage their mind for understanding the Lord, His pastimes, contemplating on that, from this material life.
No cell phone.
Huh?
No cell phone.
No cell phone, no this phone, no that phone, nothing.
Peter.
Nectar. Yeah,
Nothing. For that was meant for. It means God. In the Aranyakas, we generally use for Vanaprasthas, they should read it. Because Aranyakas, they explain about the glory of one dies in incognito. If someone dies in incognito, that is considered as glorious. Nobody knows about that. Is live or dead. Previously, that used to happen. They used to say they have gone to Kashi. Means we don't know whether they are living or die. In the first canto, where Dhritarashtra, Kunti Maharani, and Vidura, they go to they leave everything. They take Vanaprastha. There is a shloka which explains about dying in incognito. If nobody knows about you, because somebody knows about that, they will think about you, or you may think about them. You know that telepathy? Sometimes it happens. You are thinking about someone, and you think, oh, I was just thinking about you. At the time of death, if they are thinking about you, then you have to come back again. Abandon and used to go to Kashi. Because there if you die, Lord Shiva will chant the holy name at your ear. You heard they say, if someone dies and that person is put on the fire, Lord Shiva comes and he chants the Ramanam in his ear. That's why people, they go to Kashi to die. That's the reason behind it. But nowadays, in ICU, put ventilators, pump them with their heart artificially to breathe. But for what sake? That soul is trying to quit this body, and you are forcing him to retain him in that body, which is rotten, which is not suitable for him to live. We are forcing, and we think that, oh, we are so attached that our parents, we are doing for their better. What better you are doing? Leave them naturally. Let them die peacefully rather than suffering in this body for a long. I have seen people are staying in ICU for 7 months, 8 months. And what happens? The all bodily organs, they are gone. When they come out of ICU within 2 or 3 days. My own mother was there for last 15 days in ICU. When they called me up that we have put her, I said, for what reason? When I had a talk with the doctor, he got scared. Because he wanted to make money, nothing else. She had some asthmatic attack, and that's for 2 days. You put her ventilator for next 5, 7, 8 days. She was on ventilator for no reason. Means you are forcing them to suffer rather than. When she came out, she was telling me that so many pipes they put on her throats and she was not able to. Naturally, nothing was happening. It was all artificial. To recover from that, she took another 3-4 days. So what we are doing? We are really caring for them, or we are caring them? In Marathi, they say care kachra. Or you're doing kachra out of their body. One need to be very careful. How to express your love, how to. It should have some. Generally, people they think what society will think. He is earning, but he is not spending for their parents' medication. But really does helps them, or they may suffer more. Like this cancer, they do all this chemotherapy. It's all nonsense. You're making hell for that person. When he goes under the chemotherapy, it's like a torture for each and every cell of your body. Because everyone has come along with his own quota. The family which you have to born, the education what you have to get, how much wealth you are going to make, what sort of diseases you are going to suffer, and when you are going to die. It is fixed the day you got conceived in mother's womb. Nothing you can change in that. Whatever we do, as explained here, that is only prayasa. Unnecessary endeavor. That's why one should know what he has to do. Vedas has one anga called Jyotisha. It is meant for that. So that you should know what you have done in previous life, why you got this body, what are your capacities in this body, what you can do, and utilize your time and your lifespan for that things only, rather than wasting it. Most of the people, because of their atheistic view of conception, they don't believe in this Shastra. And they do all sort of nonsense, and when it goes up to this, then they remember some astrologer, they go to some Baba, this and that for asking remedies. Then why don't you do it in the beginning of life? That will help you. Don't follow it blindly. It's a guideline given by the Lord himself. When you get any product, it comes along with a manual, how to use that. So same way this human form of life has given by the Lord, so it has given manual also. So you should go through that and utilize your time properly for that purpose. Like Madhva Sannyasis, every year they do this. Like every year you have a health checkup. You go and get done the whole, this test, that test. For what? Just to find it out, is there any problem or not? Same way, these Madhva Sannyasis, every day they go through their chart. So what is beneficial for this year for me? What sort of a sadhana I should do? Whether should I study myself or should go out and preach? Which will be giving me a better benefit. They study that, and according to that, they invest their time in that. And that's why they are lasting long. For 700 years, they don't have any fall down. Arrange ourselves properly. We mismanage everything and we go for the managing big corporate companies. We are going to manage thousands of people. What the hell you are going to do? You are not able to manage yourself. Lives of thousands of people. That should be known. And why it is not happening? Because yojakas tatra durlabha. The person who can organize this is rare. Actually, I remember the shloka because on our college entrance, they wrote that. And at the last line, wrote, this institute creates organizers. So one has to understand this thing. We have a great treasure of knowledge. Use it in our day-to-day thing. And for that, what needed? You have to invest your time rather than wasting. And that's what we were discussing about. What is that?
Janasangha refers to associating. Page 21.
We went.
You started with
Antara.
Antara.
Antara means which?
Antara. Nirantara.
Nirantara. So here, it refers to associating with a person not interested in Krishna consciousness. Sri Narottam Das Thakur has therefore advised us to live only in the association of Krishna conscious devotees. Bhakta Sanevas. One should always engage in the service of the Lord in the association of Lord's devotees. Association with those engaged in a similar line of a business is very conducive to advancement in that business. Consequently, materialistic persons form various associations and clubs to enhance their endeavors. For example, in the business world, we find such an institution as the Stocks Exchange and Chamber of Commerce. Similarly, we have established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to give people an opportunity to associate with those who have not forgotten Krishna. This spiritual association offered by our Iskcon movement is increasing day by day. Many people from different parts of the world are enjoying or joining this society to awaken their dormant Krishna consciousness. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anugratti commentary that too much endeavor to acquire knowledge on the part of mental speculator or dry philosophers falls within the category of atyahara, collecting more than needed. That's why Rupa Goswami says that don't read too much. You will get confused and you will create confusion for others also. Without digesting that, if you puke it out, what happens? Everyone will go away. Better digest it. So for better digestion, eat that much which is necessary for you, not too much. The endeavor of philosophical speculators to write voluminous books on dry philosophy devoid of Krishna consciousness is entirely futile. The work of karmis who writes volumes of books on economic development also falls within the category of atyahara. Similarly, those who have no desire for Krishna consciousness and who are simply interested in possessing more and more material things, either in the shape of scientific knowledge or monetary gain, are all included under the control of atyahara. Karmis labor to accumulate more and more money for further generations, only because they do not know their future position, interested only in getting more and more money for their sons and grandsons. Such a foolish person do not even know what their position is going to be in the next life. Then Prabhupada gives very nice example here. There are many incidents that illustrated this point. Once a great karmi accumulated a vast fortune for his sons and grandsons, but later, according to his karma, he took his birth in the cobbler's house located near the building his previous life he had constructed for his children. It so happened that when this very cobbler came to his former house, his former sons and grandsons beat him with the shoes. Unless the karmis and gyanis become interested in Krishna consciousness, they will simply continue to waste their life in fruitless activities. It's very clearly explained here. Accepting some of the scriptural rules and regulation for immediate benefit as a ulterior advocate is called niyam agraha, and neglecting the rules and regulations of shastras which are meant for spiritual development is called niyam agraha. The word agraha means eagerness to accept and agraha means failure to accept. So sometimes it happens like a ardha kukuti nyaya, we take that only which is favorable for me. Because few people, they think rendering service, just here, be in the corner of the temple and just here. If someone comes, oh, we need some service, can you? No. I'm happy, I'm serving. For us, Shravan Bhakti is good. You people can. That's not the way. We pray to Lord, give me service. And if someone comes and offers you service, you neglect that. By using same scriptural injunctions only. The niyama that I only hear. So other services for me. Please, so you continue that. Mine is only Shravan Bhakti. This is what Arda Pukutine, accepting that which is favorable for me only. Not the whole thing. By the addition of either of these two words to the word niyama, rules and regulation, the word niyam agraha is formed. Thus, niyam agraha has a twofold meaning that is understood according to the particular combination of words. Those interested in Krishna consciousness should not be eager to accept rules and regulations for economic advancement. Yet, they should very faithfully accept scriptural rules and regulations for the advancement of Krishna consciousness. Smartavyam satatam Vishnu vismartavyam na jatuchit. Sarva vidhi nishadar eva stur. Etoyor eva kinkaraha. The all rules and regulations given in this scripture, they are the subservient of one rule. What is that? Smartavyam satatam Vishnu vismartavyam na jatuchit. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. All rules and regulations are subservient, kinkara, servant of this one particular rule. So all they are meant to push forward this rule, that you should remember Krishna always. Something you are following some particular niyama and you are not able to remember Krishna, then it is useless. That is not a fruitful, it is futile, in vain. So better to not follow that. One should avoid association with the Mayavadis who simply blaspheme Vaishnavas. Bhukti Kami, who are interested in material happiness, Mukti Kamis, who are desire liberation by merging into existence of formless absolute Brahman, and Siddhi Kamis, who desire the perfection of mystic yoga practice, are classified as Atyahari. My goodness. Prabhupada has really bluntly has given a jolt to all these personalities. They can't come and accept this thing. It will be very difficult for them to digest that whatever they are endeavoring for, it is considered as a tyahar, a useless thing. Desire to expand the mind by preferring mystic yoga, merging into the existence of Brahman, or attaining the whimsical material propensities are all included within the category of greed. और एक blow दे दिया प्रभुपाद ने यहाँ पर. All attempts to acquire such a material benefits or so-called spiritual advancement are impediments on the path of Krishna consciousness. If you are too attached to that particular thing, then it's gone. Anybody remembers in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in one of the purports, Prabhupada says, if someone is stuck for acquiring knowledge, he becomes Jnana Yogi. If someone is stuck performing all rules and regulations and performing activities according to the rules and regulations of a scripture, he gets stuck there, then he becomes Karma Yogi. The person who controls his senses, breath and everything and concentrates on the super soul, and if he got stuck there only, he becomes Ashtanga Yogi. But further, when makes progress and tries to render service to the Lord, when he engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, then he makes progress and he realizes the Lord as a person and he establishes his relationship with the Lord. Different categories as a Shantaras, Dasaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalyaras, or Madhuryaras. Then he makes progress. So other endeavors where you get stuck, that's called as Atyahar. It's very subtle. Very technical terms Prabhupada has used, and he is establishing how devotional service is superior to all these things. And why it is, that is also explained. Modern welfare waged between the capitalist and communist is due to their avoiding the advice of Srila Rupa Goswami regarding Atyahar. Modern capitalists accumulate more wealth than necessary, and the communists, envious of their, want to nationalize all the wealth and property. Unfortunately, the communists do not know how to solve the problem of the wealth and its distribution. Consequently, when the wealth of the capitalist falls into the hands of the communist, no solution results. Opposed to these two philosophies, the Krishna conscious ideology states that all wealth belongs to Krishna. Thus, unless all wealth comes under the administration of Krishna, there can be no solution to the economic problem of mankind. Nothing can be solved by placing wealth in the hands of a communist or the capitalist. If a $100 bill is lying on the street, someone may pick it up and put it in his pocket. Such a man is not honest. Another man may see the money and decide to let it remain there, thinking that he should not touch another's property. Although the second man does not steal the money for his own purposes, he is unaware of its proper use. The third man who sees the $100 bill may pick it up, find the man who lost it, and deliver it to him. This man does not steal the money to spend for himself, nor does he neglect it and let it lie in the street. By taking it and delivering it to the man who has lost it, this man is both honest and wise. Simply transferring wealth from a capitalist to communist cannot solve the problem of a modern politics. For it has been demonstrated that when a communist gets money, he uses it for his own sense gratification. The wealth of the world actually belongs to Krishna, and every living entity, man and animal, has the birthright to use God's property for his maintenance. When one takes more than his maintenance require, be he a capitalist or communist, he is a thief, and as such, he is liable to be punished by the laws of nature. What do you think? If really this thing would have read by the communist or capitalist, what they have done with the Prabhupada? Prabhupada said, if they read my book, they will shoot me at sight. Because it is deadly against them. They don't believe in God. He went to Russia, he preached that. Here, the capitalists were there. He preached, and he said, distribute my books, let them read it. He was inviting troubles from them. But still, then they were not able to get it. If they would have really got it, what they would have done?
They would have been transformed.
Charge.
They would have transformed.
Laptop.
But they have not done that. See, he wrote a letter to Indira Gandhi with a full plan that how the whole parliament should run. In that, he requested that she should make either Rajiv or Sanjeev as a king, and all Brahminical people should be the advisors. Every day in the parliament, they should, before starting their daily work, they should have a kirtan. Everyone should chant the. Then there will be peace in them. He dared to do that at least. He had hopes that if I express that desire, at least somebody will take it. And one person took it actually. And he did survive for long as a king in South Africa.
Nelson.
He was not a king.
The wealth of world should be used for the welfare of living entities. For that, Mother Nature. Everyone has the right to live by utilizing the wealth of the Lord. When people learn the art of scientifically utilizing the Lord's property, they will no longer encroach upon the another's rights. then an ideal society can be formed. The basic principle for such a spiritual society is stated in the first mantra of Ishopanishad. Isavasamiram sarvam yat kinchim jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjita magrida kasya sveddanam. Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Has given impact to the first example what Prabhupada has given. What was the example? What is the difference between man and birds?
Cage.
They eat on a bag of rice.
Exactly.
The bird will only eat.
If the bag of grain is lying on the road, bird will come, will just pick up whatever is there in his beak, and that will fly away. Cow will come, she will her stomach and she will go. But human being,
Take the bag away.
he will run away with the bag.
Hide it.
But this is so logical. I mean, if this were actually how it was, if the human being only kept as much as needed, if anything that is excess, he will say, does anybody else need it, and pass it on. So if anything is left, then it will be passed on. And what he doesn't need, he will give it to the needy.
That used to happen previously. We had that barter system. What is it now? Whatever excess with you, distribute. Excess he used to distribute. So that was the way they were living peacefully. There is still one village in India, they are living on this same system. It's what they call?
Kannada.
Muttur.
They speak
It's like 90 kilometers from Bangalore.
Puttur.
Muttur. Muttur.
The village, they speak Sanskrit.
What's the use of taking birth in Bangalore?
Puttur, no?
Birth in Bangalore. Then I was away from it.
Then that's a place. There still they follow this practices. Now even planning to have that because during the demonetization, because that's the way proper relationship with everyone. There will be notice like one time about the casteism incident happened. One Brahmana, he came in the noon at his home and he very chill water for him to drink. So he drank that. It was so soothing for him. He said, "Oh, from where you got this water? We don't have any earthen pot at our place. From where you can get it?" He said, No, actually, I brought it from our neighbor. He's a pot maker. So I bought it from his pot. So, oh, what you have done? I have lost my dignity now. I drank water from his water pot. Lost everything. Wife was very intelligent. She said, okay, it's my mistake, but I will not do that mistake again. So she fed him nicely. He took rest. Again he went out. Night when he came back, he saw that whole house is empty. He said, what has happened? He said, no, actually I don't have that pitcher. The pitcher that was made by some low class person. So I just thrown it away. I said, okay. He said, I'm hungry now. Can you feed me? She said, I don't have any grains now at home. I brought so much. Yeah, you bought it from that farmer. Na? We don't know which caste he belongs. He has just grown all that crops and he worked for that. He collected and he kept it and you got it from him. So I don't want to lose your dignity. So I just thrown them away. Let me rest. Where is the cot? She said, that was made by that carpenter. He's a low caste person. How you can sleep with the thing that he has made it on? dignity, let it be. He's like a boiling now. So what is this? Then lastly, he said there is no food, no water, no things to rest on. And she said, tomorrow we have to vacate this house also. Yeah, because it is made by this mason, and they are from the very low class. In fact, they are from some richer families also. So I have decided, and I called them and asked them tomorrow they should come and take their own house. We are living. We'll go in the jungle. We will stay somewhere, and we'll have just dry leaves and kandamulas. Realize for his own existence, he need to have all these people. Without them, he does not have any value. That was our Indian system. That was our Vedic, not Indian, Vedic system, where each and everyone has equal position and equal importance in the society. Like the whole Varnashrama institute is considered as the Lord's whole body. Brahmanoho asya mukham masi bahurajanya krita urutadasya vaishya padbhyam shudro vijaya. Feet are Shudras, Vaishya. Arms are like Kshatriyas, and head is like our face is like a Brahmanas. Body can't be complete without a single limb. That person is considered as Apurna. If he does not have arms, he can't protect himself. He may have arms but no stomach. Can he survive? He may have all the things but no intelligence. Can he utilize? No. So the whole body should be utilized properly when you have all these four components are properly managed. So Varnashrama is meant for that, so that the whole society can run properly, can be managed properly. Essence behind that. Ishavasam idam sarvam tyena tyena bhunjita kadas kasya svidharam. One should have that much only which is necessary for him. Everything is created by the Lord. It belongs to him and should be taken in that way only. And then further it says that Krishna consciousness devotees know very well that this material world is designed by the complete arrangement of the Lord to fulfill the necessities of life for all living beings, without their having to encroach upon the life or rights of one another. This complete arrangement affords the proper quota of wealth for everyone according to his real needs. And thus everyone may live peacefully according to the principles of plain living and high thinking. Unfortunately, materialists who have neither faith in the plan of God nor any aspiration for higher spiritual development misuse their God-given intelligence only to augment their material possession. They devise many systems such as capitalism, materialistic communism to advance their material position. They are not interested in the laws of God or in higher goal, always anxious to fulfill their unlimited desires for sense gratification. They are conspicuous by their ability to exploit their fellow living beings. When human society gives up these elementary faults enumerated by Srila Rupa Goswami, Atyahara, etc., all enmity will cease between men and animals, capitalist and communist, and so forth. In addition, all problems of economic and political maladjustment and inability will be solved. This pure consciousness is awakened by the proper spiritual education and practice offered scientifically by the Krishna consciousness movement. This Krishna conscious movement offers a spiritual community that can bring about a peaceful condition in the world. Every intelligent man should purify his consciousness and rid himself of the above mentioned 6 hindrances to devotional service by taking wholehearted shelter of this Krishna consciousness movement. Hare Krishna. So this is how The object of Krishna consciousness is to bring everyone back to Lord with equal vision, with equal position. If you want a real peace in the society, then everyone has to become a Krishna conscious. At least we will start from our home.
Whatever we can.
Charity begins at home or from
At
home.
home. Charity begins at home.
So let's start. Make everyone Krishna conscious in our own family. Then we will think about the society. So, any question, any comment? Anything would you like to say?
You said that we stop prayasing to do the prayasing for the cancer. You gave one example of. But like for example, if you stop trying, then it is good for the society, right? So we have to take actions.
See, there should be, I'm saying or endeavor. One has to understand.
Yeah.
We are speaking about the or endeavor, not the endeavor. You put your endeavor, but not over endeavor. That limit should be understood. Anything beyond limits, ati parichayat avadnya. That's what it is said. They give you example that Malaya bhilla purandari chandanam tarukashta indhunam karute ati parichayat avadnya. If something becomes too much, then it lost its value. Like in the Malaya region of the forest, chandana taru are very much. You can find sandalwood trees like anything. So what happens then? The aborigines who stays there, what they do? They cut that tree for creating fuel for cooking food. They does not know the value of that. That's what happens. When you over-endure for something, you lose the essence. I'm not saying that one should not treat. You should treat it, but you should know how much. See, as per our Vedic system, Ayurveda, before giving medicine, they will check nakshatra. They will check that person's horoscopes, which dasha is going on, whether this medicine will be suitable for this period or not, or this disease, how long it will last. It used to depend on that. They used to follow that. Now, anywhere, any way they take medicines. That's not the way. Someone has to get cured. He should start medicines on Mondays, because that is a Chandra Dasha. It's totally different subject matter. I should not speak that here. So, need to be understood that how much endeavor we have to put. That's very important. We don't know how long we are going to live. So whatever time we have, we should utilize very nicely and usefully. We should not lament at the last breath of a life, oh, I have wasted my life. And that's what's happening with everyone nowadays. Because they lost the essence. Yes, Master?
Speak well.
I am just repeating what is written there, nothing else.
That's speaking well.
Really enjoyed it.
Hare
The soul resides here or like right side of the heart,
in the
the
heart.
body, in the heart, right?
Sarvasya chaham radhi sanniyashto. Matta smatir jnanam apohanam. Where is the heart?
Left side.
Left or right?
Left side.
Left side. The Lord resides in the heart. Dvavimo purusho sloke. There are two people in the heart. One is soul and one is super soul. So where is the soul then?
I don't know that one question.
In the
So
heart.
both like super
Both they
soul.
reside in heart.
Oh, okay. Same side.
But Prabhu, soul is spread across the body, right?
Consciousness. Chetana. Through which you can understand the existence of soul.
It's like a software in hardware.
That's why, engineers, they take up Krishna consciousness very easily because they are more analytical than the other students. We used to preach in more into engineering colleges. We got a lot of brahmacharis from there only than any other analytical mind where they can just analyze, they think about it.
Prabhu, you're from Bombay? Me too.
Oh, really? Which part?
I was raised in Vadala Matunga area,
Oh,
and
I was born in somewhere in Belgaum, and
then you came.
I'm not Bombay person. I stayed for
Oh,
a
okay.
while.
Karnataka.
Okay, so we'll have a kirtan for a while.
What is Antar, Prabhu? You said Antara, right? What is the
Next
meaning?
time I will speak about that. It's long. It will take another 2 hours
Okay.
to speak on that.
So when we talk about enlightenment or realization, the soul cannot change in any way, right?
Means
It is insoluble, as Krishna says in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita.
what changes is consciousness, the symptoms. Soul is pure by nature, but when it gets covered by the ignorance, it forgets everything. But when you get enlightened, that mist or dusk that goes away, and whatever clear, you visualize that thing. So even though soul is insoluble, infallible, but when it gets covered by the illusion, it needs to get enlightened by the knowledge. By knowledge. Through knowledge it happens. And that knowledge comes from the Lord himself. Lord, he says that Tesham evanu kampartham ajam jnanam ajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavastva jnana deepena bhasvata. By seeing the sincerity of a soul for endeavoring to acquire knowledge, Lord himself enlightened that knowledge in his heart through spiritual master. That's why it's necessary to accept a spiritual master in our life, because he knows what is needed for us. Because Lord is presented in 2 ways: as a Chaitya Guru, as a Paramatma, and formal Guru or a Diksha Guru in his external manifestation. So internally, as a Chaitya Guru, he knows what you are lacking, and externally, as a Guru, he provides that. He gets you in touch with the devotees. Then you come along with him. Then you follow rules and regulations. And that gives enlightenment to your heart. And once heart is enlightened, that knowledge gets revealed into your heart, and it becomes very easy to connect ourselves with Allah.
But it's always through the spiritual master.
Definitely. That's the way. There are very few rare souls are there who are directly in contact with the Lord. They don't have a guru. But they have accepted Lord itself as a guru. But here, the Bhagavad Gita, when Lord starts with, as long as Arjuna was arguing with him, he has not spoken a single word. When Arjuna gives up everything, holds his hand and says, Karpanya dosho apatsuma prachami dvam dharma samudachita. Yat sreyasyan nishchitam bruhitan me shishyastham shadimam dvam prapanam.
Surrender.
When he surrenders and accepts Krishna as a guru, and he says, please accept me as your disciple. He pleaded to Lord, now you tell me what's good for me, because I am bewildered. And only a spiritual master who has a clear vision can give you a vision. And that's why Lord, then he becomes his guru and gives knowledge. In the 4th chapter, he explained the whole parampara. If you want to take knowledge, there he explains the royal parampara, means the kings for whom he has given that knowledge, and how that disciplic succession was stopped. And now I am re-establishing that with you. But the disciplic succession of sadhus, that was continued. Like Narada, Vyasa, from them it was continued. And from that disciplic succession, Parikshit Maharaj got knowledge about the Lord. So Lord has shown both ways, even kingly disciplic succession and even the ascetics disciplic succession. Both are the ways you can choose as per your situation. So situation doesn't matter whether you are a grahastha, vanaprastha, brahmachari, sannyasi, or what else? Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, anything. You can do. Because that's the religion of soul, not the external body. So that can be get connected with the Lord through knowledge.
Getting the spiritual master is also the mercy of the Lord.
Definitely. That's what Lord himself says. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he was teaching all these aspects to Rupa Goswami, there he says that Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bija. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavana Jiva. If living entity, he travel all around the universe in different species of life. By his good fortune, he get chance to come in contact with the Guru. Then that Guru shows him who is Krishna. And by Krishna's mercy, he gets the Guru. So both are interrelated and interconnected. By Krishna's mercy, you get Guru, and by Guru's mercy, you get Krishna. Because Guru gives you Bhakti Lata Bija, and through that Bhakti Lata, you can approach Krishna. But Krishna's mercy, you get Guru. So ultimately, his mercy required. And when he gives that mercy, when he sees your sincere endeavor for that. As a Chaitya Guru, he knows what's going on. Externally may not be knowing. Anyone else can't know, but he knows everything. Before you think, he knows what you are going to think. And that way he provides you that. That's why he says Yogakshemam Vahamyam. He preserves what you has and he gives what is needed for you. That's what the quality of God. Okay. Right. We'll have a 5 minutes Kirtan. Hi, God. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 हरिनाम संकीर्तन की
जय।
गौरांग महाप्रभु की
जय।
श्रील रूप गोस्वामी पाद की
जय।
जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की
जय।
समवेत भक्त वृंद की
जय।
जय गौर प्रेमानंद। Thank you so much.